15 years of silence. And the first thing my brother says to me isn't, "I forgive you." It's, "Give me your sperm." My brother cut me off for years after I slept with his girlfriend, then suddenly reached out, only to demand my sperm as the price for his forgiveness. And later, I found out his girlfriend actually did it on purpose. I, 35M, spoke directly to my brother, James, 37M, for the first time in over 15 years. And yeah, it was completely my fault. I was a jealous, insecure young man who made a selfish choice with zero regard for long-term consequences. What did I do? I hooked up with Alice, 37F, who was dating my brother at the time. It only happened once, and one of the main reasons it was only once is because we got caught. James was, rightfully, furious. His reaction was aggressive, but understandable. I could have pushed things further, maybe even gotten him in serious trouble, but guilt and pressure from our parents kept me from going down that road. Instead, I was the one who got kicked out. I was scolded by everyone, immediate family, extended family, and James cut me out of his life completely. Over the years, I slowly rebuilt some kind of relationship with my parents and my younger sister. But James, he wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. I spent years trying to understand why I did what I did. I went to therapy. I worked on myself. Eventually, I built a new life, traveled, got a college-level education, and started my own small but successful business. I tried relationships too, but I realized long-term companionship just wasn't for me. And along the way, I figured out I didn't want to be a father either. So, I got the snip. But life had other plans. Between 2020 and 2021, I entered an exclusive arrangement with a friend, Tanya, 36F, and she ended up getting pregnant. Turns out, the snip didn't stick. Now, I have a beautiful daughter, Emily, 4F. Tanya and I live about 10 minutes apart, and we've built an amazing co-parenting relationship. My parents know about Emily. They've met her a few times, but they've always kept their distance because of James. My sister, though, she's been fully involved. She and Emily actually have a real relationship. As for James, I gave up a long time ago on ever seeing or speaking to him again. So yeah, I was shocked when he reached out to me on social media. The first thing he asked, whether Emily was really mine, because she's biracial and looks more like her mother. Tanya is African American. I didn't respond. Instead, my parents contacted me and asked me to come over. When I got there, I wasn't expecting to see both James and Alice waiting for me. Turns out, after everything, they made up, got married, and just agreed to never talk about me again. But for the past few years, they've been trying to have kids. And apparently, James can't have biological children. I don't know the details. I didn't ask. What I do know is this. Alice wants a biological child. James refuses to raise a kid that isn't biologically his. And that's where I come in. My brother told me he's willing to finally forgive me, to accept me back into his life. If I make a donation to help them start a family. My parents? Completely on board. They really want me to do it. And me? I'm hesitant. Yeah. Technically, I wouldn't be responsible for the child, but something about this feels off. Wrong. And honestly, from what I've seen, I don't think James and Alice would even make good parents. I've been reading the comments, so let me clear a few things up. 1. I don't blame my parents for kicking me out. I did something pretty messed up. I stayed with a friend, so I wasn't on the street. 2. My sister was still dependent on our parents at the time, so I don't blame her for keeping her distance. 3. Yes, she knew about James and Alice, but I had made it very clear that, short of James dying, I didn't want to hear anything about him. Communication from my side was never closed. If James wanted me to know something, he could have reached out. 4. When you hurt someone, you don't get to decide when they should forgive you or how they cope. Yeah, it's a little strange he forgave Alice, but not me, but it's not my place to demand forgiveness. 5. It took me a while to realize, but there was definitely some golden child dynamic going on. James was the first son, academically successful. I struggled, got into trouble, and my parents weren't exactly proud of that. I internalized a lot of that insecurity. What I did with Alice, that was me lashing out. Not an excuse, just an explanation. 6. James was the one who got hurt, not me. So it makes sense my parents prioritized him. But I also think there's some resentment there, that I can pass on the family name, and he can't. 7. My parents have interacted with my daughter. They've even given her gifts. But I think they hold back because they don't want to hurt James. Hope that clears things up. Yes, I did apologize. About 3 years after everything happened, my therapist suggested I write a letter. I gave it to my mom to pass along to James. I don't know if he ever read it. Also, for the first year after I was kicked out, I had no contact with my parents. After that, it became very low contact, mostly with my mom. My dad, even less. I've stayed in regular contact with my sister, though. And yeah, James broke my nose back then. It happened outside. Neighbors called the police. By the time they arrived, our dad had already separated us. I was icing my face, and James had left to cool off. NTA. My brother says he'll forgive me if I donate sperm. Yeah, I know how it sounds. Slimy. Transactional. And my gut. It's telling me the same thing. So let me get this straight. The man who erased me from his life now wants to create a life through me? He kicks you out of his life, pressures your parents to go low contact with you, and now he's trying to pressure you into giving him a child? Screw that. That's what people were telling me. My parents, though, completely on board with the idea. They really wanted me to do it. Others said, don't do it. One person even asked, why doesn't your dad donate instead? He'd be helping his favorite son, right? Apparently, that wasn't an option. According to my sister, Alice didn't want sperm from an old man. Another comment put it bluntly. So, he cut you off because you tried to mix your DNA with his girlfriend 15 years ago, and now he'll forgive you if you mix your DNA with his wife? Not directly, I clarified. They want to go through a lab. Then someone shared their own experience, and honestly, it stuck with me. They were pregnant. Their partner couldn't have kids, so they used his brother as a donor. But it wasn't simple. It took 3 cycles to conceive. And if James and Alice wanted more kids, that could mean more requests, more involvement, more complications. Their advice? If you're not 100% sure, don't do it. It's way easier to walk away now than halfway through. And yeah, that hit hard. Because my brother has always been very clear about one thing. He wants a son. Even after 15 years, that hasn't changed. During our conversation, he kept saying boy, son, never just child. Someone else pointed out something I hadn't thought about. The failure rate of a vasectomy is less than 1%. You might want to get that checked. Yeah, I already did. After Tanya told me she was pregnant and confirmed I was the only one, doctors tested me. That's how I found out. We even did a DNA test. Tanya insisted. Emily is mine. Then people asked why I didn't think James and Alice would be good parents. And honestly, where do I even start? Using forgiveness and family as leverage? That's manipulation. You either forgive someone or you don't. Turning it into a transaction? That's not real forgiveness. And beyond that, based on who they are now, their beliefs, their mindset, I don't see them creating a healthy environment for a child. Especially if that child turns out to be different in any way they don't expect. It's been a while, but here it is. I said no. I told my brother, Alice, and my parents to respect my decision. Deep down, I knew they wouldn't. And I was right. They called me selfish. Said I owed him after everything I did. But what I didn't expect was the truth about why James forgave Alice, but not me. Turns out, James cheated first. Twice. And one of those times, it was with a girl Alice hated, someone who later humiliated her publicly by bragging about it. Alice forgave him the first time, but the second time, she wanted revenge. That's where I came in. Sleeping with me wasn't random. It was planned. She wanted James to catch us. And he did. They broke up after that, but eventually found their way back to each other. With one condition: never talk about me again. And the only way to keep that agreement? Limit my existence in the family. So James guilt-tripped our parents into keeping their distance from me. That's why I was always held at arm's length. I won't lie, that part made me angry. Because yeah, I messed up. But so did they. All 3 of us did selfish, hurtful things. And somehow, I was the only one who paid the full price. My parents believe this whole situation, James not being able to have kids, is some kind of karma. And that me donating would heal the family. I still said no. And yeah, I told them the truth. I don't think they'd be good parents. My sister? She's the only one who's had my back through all of this. She called them out for exactly what they are. There was always a small part of me that hoped, maybe one day, things would go back to normal. Holidays together. Family dinners. But after all this, I'm okay with distance. Low contact. Very low contact. Maybe even less. That's seriously messed up. Keep your distance. Yeah, James has always been the golden child. Honestly, all 3 of you messed up, But Alice is the real villain. I get that perspective. But after everything, I don't think it's that simple. James cheated on her twice. One of those times with someone who publicly humiliated her. I understand why she wanted revenge. Doesn't make it right, but it makes it human. Truth is, we all hurt each other, just in different ways. You should go no contact. Keep your daughter away from that toxicity. Already done. I talked it over with Tanya. Emily isn't going anywhere near James or Alice. Not unless she's old enough to make that decision herself. As for my parents, they can be part of her life, but only after at least a year of therapy. No exceptions.